This is where we're talking about getting into the detail. Cancer seemed to have been improving over all of these decades and then slowed down during the pandemic. But there's all different kinds of cancer. So I took the top 6 kinds of cancer people are dying from. And one of the problems is lung cancer has swamped out all of the other ones. Lung cancer being driven primarily by smoking, of course. And because smoking incidence had decreased, lung cancer incidence decreased and lung cancer mortality decreased. So you can see that in that first table there. And the way I highlighted this, white just means it improved. Negative is good, positive is bad when it comes to mortality changes. And then I highlighted in red the things that got worse. And this is over the pandemic period. So breast cancer at young ages, we see colorectal cancer, and this is something that actually has a long-term trend that's bad. So 25 to 44 years, that younger age group that Josh was talking about, we're seeing a bad trend there, and that's long-term as well. Prostate cancer and pancreatic cancer, we're seeing some bad trends at older ages there. That might be missed treatment during the pandemic, or there may be some other things going on. I'm just looking at the statistics, not looking at causes here. So this is where we're saying we're starting at the high level and then getting down into the details. In my analysis, I'm mainly looking at what's called UCD, the underlying cause of death, where there's one and only one per death certificate. Well, Josh got into even more detailed analysis through the pandemic because you can have multiple causes of death or contributing causes of death. You can have up to 20 of those on death certificates and get into a lot more detail there. So I'm going to hand it back to Josh so he can show you some of the things that he found when he was looking at the changes in mortality through the pandemic.
Bit, but I would just illustrate this chart. As I mentioned, sort of the metaphor of the sea of red. Just look at the colors on the right-hand side of the page. Almost every type of cancer on an age-adjusted basis is up, except for except for lung cancer and maybe colon cancer for some ages and maybe breast cancer, depending on how you measure it. And what I think it boils down to is the cancers that we have super duper focused on as a medical industry and as a society to try to reduce by stopping smoking and screening for breast cancer and doing things like that. Yes, we are having an impact on those. But if we're trying to measure the underlying incidence of cancer, you would want to scrub those out and then look at all these other ones which are rising at sometimes pretty substantial double-digit rates. And so this gives us a lot of concern, and it's motivated a lot of the work of our group.